Africa.
Okay, oops. All right, good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to our HELIG coffee talk on professional body and CPD. I'm Dr. Kleinveld, HELIG chair and an academic at CPUT, and will be moderating the chat space, so please feel free to type your questions and comments throughout the session. I'm very excited about the talk today. The purpose of HELIG coffee talk sessions are to provide a space where we can engage informally online on various topics and issues in the field over our cup of coffee or tea. And when the topic is heated, it may lead to a round two of the discussion or may even develop into hosting a workshop or hands-on training and so on. Now, I must point out that today's session focuses on aspects close to our hearts, being proud of our profession and always striving for further growth and development. A professional body is an organization with individual members practicing a profession or occupation in which the organization maintains an oversight of the knowledge, skills, conduct, and practice of that profession or occupation. It is therefore fitting to learn more about continuing professional development. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to my colleague, Mr. Marupene Ramabina, the HELIG treasurer and a law librarian at the University of Venda. Marupene will introduce us to our very special guest speaker this afternoon, who will set the scene for us before we open the floor for discussion. Marupene, over to you.
Thank you, Chairperson, and welcome back. Thank you, colleagues, for joining us. Marupene from Thohoyandou here in Limpopo province. I'm just going to quickly switch off my video before I announce our speaker for today. Thank you for joining us, colleagues. The session for today is very important for us. Very important for us as Lyasah members, so that we must know what is happening in our association. It's an information session. I think we must have more of these sessions because there could be a lot of things which are happening and then we are not sure or we don't know what is happening in our association regarding the current plans and the future plans. Lyasah was recognized by SAQA as a professional body in 2014. And that status was also renewed in 2019. So for us as Lyasah members, what does that mean? Do we know, do we understand what it means that we are recognized by SAQA and then we must renew that membership? What is the role and function of SAQA for Lyasah now as a professional body? And what does it mean, colleagues, as Lyasah members? Do we know what it means? Do we all understand what is happening here? I see even most of our colleagues in their email signatures will be putting that PL, professional librarian. Do we really know or understand what it means? How can we apply for that professional designation and what does it mean? How does all this relate to CPD, the continuing professional development? Most of us, we are receiving emails from Lyasah about the points. Your application for these points have been approved from this workshop or this conference that you attended. What does it mean for us, colleagues? Do we know, or do we just delete that email? We don't even know what it means. And then that email will even say, please click on this link, so that you must open the email and understand what it means. So that's the reason as HELIG we decided to have this session today, that this information session, maybe it can provide answers and clarity to us so that we must understand what it means. Yes, indeed, Chairperson, we have our special guest today here, who is not really a guest, we all know her. She's going to clarify these things for us. Briefly here, the person is going to be with us here, Ms. Anna-Marie Hussein. After graduating with a library and information science degree from University of Free State, Anna-Marie worked mainly in the public library sector in Alberton and Dundee in the KZN, before she returned to Gauteng in 2009. From there, now Anna-Marie took up a position at Lyasah, where she was coordinating and managing the various donor grants, amongst them the CICD grant, responsible for soft skills training for library workers, and the NGPL grant, which provided bursaries for Lyasah workers to obtain their postgraduate diploma in LIS. Both grants were funded by Carnegie Corporation of New York. Since then, Anna-Marie filled various positions at Lyasah, and in 2014, she was appointed as a Lyasah manager. Colleagues, let's take this opportunity to welcome Anna-Marie to our session for today. Thank you, colleagues, and Anna-Marie, over to you.
Thank you very much, Marupeni and colleagues. I am switching my camera on just for a second. For those of you that know the email address or that knows the name but has never seen the face, here I am. And I'm going to share my presentation, but I'm also going to switch off my camera that we can save bandwidth and that we don't run into trouble. So let's get the presentation up. Right. So as Marupene said, that Lyasah's professional body journey started in 2013 when we got permission at AGM to apply for the professional body status, which we did. And then he rightly said that in 2014, it was awarded to us for the first time. It was renewed in 2019. And then if you do the maths, you will know that in 2024, we will then apply for a third round of professional body status. But what you're probably asking now, what exactly is a professional body? There we go. So let's go straight to the Act, the NQF Act. So the NQF Act 67 of 2008 and the Amendment Act 12 of 2019 are the acts that legalize the existence of professional bodies, and the Act mandates SAQA, the South African Qualifications Authority, to action this function, and therefore it defines a professional body as a body of expert practitioners. So if we analyze this, the expert practitioners are us, the librarians, the library workers, the information specialists, by whichever name you go by, in an occupational field. And therefore our occupational field is library and or information science. And it must include an occupational body. And then, of course, in our case, the occupational body is Lyasah. So if you tick those three fields, any body, any association, if they tick those three fields, then they can do the first step and apply. It doesn't mean that they will get it. There are other boxes to tick, but those are the three criteria, and that is the definition of a professional body. So the focus areas of a professional body. So PB, when you see PB, it's not peanut butter and all sorts of other things. PB is professional body in this case. So I'm not going to go too much into detail, but just to put you in the picture. So it is prescribed that the focus of a professional body is to, and let's start here in this corner, the darkest green segment of the pie there, to promote public understanding of the profession, that everybody knows what Lyasah or what librarians and library information workers do, ensure social responsibility and accountability in the profession. Next is to promote pride in the association and the profession. It very much links up with public understanding, but it also is to protect the public from malpractice. So I think in our case, yes, it can happen. There can be malpractice, but I think also in other professional bodies, I'm thinking, for instance, of all the healthcare professional bodies. I think malpractice there is much more dangerous or life-threatening. Not that it can't be in our world as well, but I think it is easier explained in, for instance, healthcare practices. Then also it encouraged international best practice and raised the esteem of the profession worldwide. Access to an analysis of data related to the profession, developing a national career advice system, and lastly, the one that has the most impact on the members of the association or the professional body is to encourage continuous professional development. So those are the focus areas, the areas that a professional body or association needs to actually focus on. But now the functions, what is a professional body supposed to do? So again, I'm not going to go into too much detail. So the functions that a professional body performs on behalf of the entire sector, regardless if they are members or not, is to regulate qualifications by endorsing new qualifications as part of the SAQA process. So every time they want to bring out a new qualification or they want to change their qualification, a university or a university of technology needs to apply to SAQA to make that changes. SAQA would then go to the associations, the professional body, because they are the experts in the field. The people in SAQA doesn't know. And then therefore the professional body endorses that qualification. The professional body also sets standards for ethical practice. They implement and monitor CPD. And then relating to implementation and monitoring of CPD, they also endorse service providers for CPD to ensure that the quality provision of training and development is standard across the entire sector. So the second endorsement of the service providers, that would be the soft skill service providers. It's not the universities, it is all the other service providers that want to perform a service that relates to library and information science. Okay. So once there is a professional body, there is a professional designation. The two goes hand in hand. You can't split it. It's like a cup and a sauce or fish and chips. It always goes hand in hand. If there's a professional body, there's always a professional designation. So currently, Lyasah only has the one designation. We have applied for 2 more designations. Our application was declined, but I'm happy to report that we have now secured a meeting. It took us forever to get a meeting with SAQA, and next month we will meet with them to discuss what are we doing wrong, why don't they not want to approve our additional designations. So hopefully that would be resolved soon as well. So for a professional designation, let's go back to the NQF Act 67 of 2008, again for the definition of a designation. So it says a designation is a status confirmed by a professional body in recognition of a person's expertise and right to practice in an occupational field. So I don't like the word title used in this because it's confusing. So I prefer the word status, that people know that you have an elevated status as a professional librarian. If you have been awarded the designation, you have an elevated status because you have proven that you have expertise to practice in this occupational field. Nobody but a professional body, not even SAQA or the CHE or anybody else, can award a designation, only a professional body. Our next slide will deal with now, yes, okay, I understand all that. Now I want to apply for my designation. What do I need to do? So the criteria for application is that you need to have 1 year relevant experience. So you can have experience in another field, but you don't have experience in the library information science, unfortunately, you will have to wait to gain that experience. The second criteria is that you need to have a library and information science or studies degree on at least NQF level 7 or a different B degree and your postgraduate diploma. And then, of course, you also need to have membership to your professional body. Once you were awarded your designation, to retain your designation, you need to ensure that over 3 years, you need to do 20 Cpd points. And later we are going to look at what activities you can perform. You need to have paid up membership. And you also need to adhere to the code of conduct and ethics of your professional body. So once you tick the 3 boxes for this, you can apply 1 year experience, a qualification on at least NQF level 7, and you have paid up membership, you can apply. You probably have seen more and more ads recently that requires Lyasah membership or membership to your professional body or a designation, something in those lines. And there is a big push even from local government for that to be included. I think, especially in Gauteng, there is, I think the Premier's office got involved to make sure that the entire sector, the entire Gauteng is being professionalized. Also, National School of Government, I think it is, also sent out some documentation for the professionalization of the civil service. So there's a big push. And if you're not on board yet, I would suggest that you get on board as soon as possible, because currently there's no entry exam or test that you have to write to be awarded your designation. If you actually meet those criteria, you will be awarded your designation. At any time that can change, and we are working towards that there is an entry exam or test or whatever we're going to call it, just to make sure that those people that do apply, that they have the basic knowledge, entry-level knowledge for a qualification on NQF level 7. So this is very, very important. So if you don't remember anything that I've said today, remember this. Once you have been awarded a designation, you have not been awarded a qualification. It is not the same thing. Lyasah doesn't have the mandate to award qualifications. We have the mandate to award designations. Qualifications fall under the ambit of the universities and the universities of technology. We do the designations. They cannot award a designation. So for instance, if once we have the other 2 designations in place, then we will look at recognition of prior learning again, and you might have a lower qualification than what is required. You go through your recognition of prior learning program, and you might get a designation higher than what is what your qualifications prescribe. So, but we're not getting into that discussion today. That is for the future. We first need to sort out the other 2. So, for instance, my job title, no, that's job title, my qualification, if you, I can't think of an example, what qualification. So if for instance, you did a degree that is in information science, there's no library part in it, your designation would still be professional librarian, even your qualification is in information science. Similarly, your designation is not your job title. My job title is Lyasah manager. It will stay Lyasah manager. It will not change to professional librarian. Your executive director's job title is executive director. They might have the designation, so we're not going to change their job title. So designation is not a qualification, designation is not a job title. That's very, very important to remember. So now with all that said, how do we apply? First of all, you need to be a paid up individual member of Lyasah. Institutional members, unfortunately, can't apply because the institutional member does not have people attached to it. Next, if you don't need to send us proof whether you're a member or not. We will check automatically. You need to send us a certified copy, not older than 3 months, of your ID, as well as your LIS, your list qualifications, related qualifications. If you have any foreign qualifications, even if it's just a hop over our borders, you need to have your SAQA, a foreign qualification verification letter, attached as well. And then, of course, we need confirmation of employment. So we need the confirmation of employment to check that you have been employed in a relevant field for at least 1 year. So on our website, we have templates that you can use if your HR needs a template of what they need to send. So we don't need personal information. We don't need to know what is your staff number. We don't need to know on what barometer's level you are or what your salary level are. We really don't need to know that. We just need to know when you were appointed. If you have moved up in the ranks, they can include that. But the most important for us is that first appointment date. So how do I apply? Very, very easy. You go to the Lyasah website at www.lyasah.org.za. Go on the black menu ribbon. There's option for members. Move up, professional body and designations. And then across, sometimes it's on the left, sometimes it's on the right. For the templates, they're employment templates, application for a designation template. There are 4 of them. It's for a group application, for individual, for retired people, and I think for unemployed people. But you can just download a template there and just put it on your university or your institution's letterhead. And then there's an online application form. So first you need to have your employment letter, and then you go back and apply. So there are a few fields that you just need to fill in, and then there are blocks that you just need to upload all the documents. If you want to upload your Lyasah certificate, by all means do that, but you need to upload your ID document, you need to upload all your LIS related qualifications and your template, your employment letter. You send it through, it will go through to the Lyasah office. We will present it to the committee, and once every 3 months, or there are 4 awarding dates in the year, so your designation will be awarded to the date closest to whatever the date is of awarding. So in the past, we awarded the designations as they come in, but that was changed to make it easier for us to keep track of who we need to advise that you haven't done your 20 points and your designation probably will expire in the next 6 months or so. Just that admin is a bit easier on our side. So now, but once you are awarded your designation, as I said earlier, you need to do a minimum of 20 CPD points over 3 years. So before we look at what types of CPD you can do, let's just have a quick look at CPD. So by engaging in continuing professional development, it ensures that registered members retain and continuously develop their professional knowledge, their professional skills, their professional values, their ethics, and their attitudes, as well as the competence they achieved during the years of study. If anybody was at the Gauteng North South African Librarians Day event, Charlie made a very valid point, Charlie Molepo made a very valid point, and saying that there is no such thing as reskilling. We all are skilled. We all got a qualification, whatever your qualification is. And that is the competence you've earned during your years of study. We can only upskill, except if you go in a totally different area that you don't have any knowledge of. then you can reskill. But what we need to do is upskill and not necessarily always reskill. I thought that was a very interesting thing. The responsibility for developing and maintaining competence rests with the members. So I've put that in the biggest, blackest letters that I can. Again, very important for you to remember. So your employer asks you to do your professional development plan at the beginning of the year or whenever it is time for you to do that. And you put a bunch of things there. You might get to do all of it. You might not get to do any of it. But your employer has to look after so many people. They cannot worry about one person. Therefore, it's your responsibility. If it is a niche area, are you looking at free webinars? Are you looking at courses? Anything that can help you, and take it to your employer. Say, this is what I want to do. So you need to be responsible for yourself. Your employer, doesn't matter how much they care for you, they cannot look after each and every person. So just last few slides before we go over to the discussions. So what are the types of continuing professional development can you do to earn points? So we have seminars and webinars, and Lyasah has presented many, I think last count it was over 40 or 50 this year alone that Lyasah has presented. It is all free. So far, it is all free. We don't know what's happening in the future. And if you attend those in person, if you stay for a certain length of time, then you can earn a point. So again, currently we don't test knowledge or what you got from the webinar or the seminar afterwards, but that probably will happen at some point. Because currently a big number of people might not be able to attend the live webinar. They have a different meeting, they have load shedding, anything can happen, but they can watch the recording, which we place on YouTube afterwards. But now, because we don't know that they have watched it, we cannot allocate a point. So currently, people are allocated points when they are on the live webinar. Then there are things like group discussions. So you were one of the lucky ones that went to the Lyasah conference or any other conference, and you get back, and now there was something very interesting, something your university or your employer wants to implement. You have a group discussion. You all sit down, you discuss what was said at the conference. There's input from everywhere. It is I almost want to say structured, but not completely structured, but there's some structure to the discussions. There might be minutes taken or notes on the discussion. There might be a little bit of an attendance register as proof that this has happened. And for that, you can also then claim CPD points. Easy. Attendance of workshops. I think we all know that. And for workshops, it will depend on how long the workshop is. So currently, our membership coordinator level is on a 5-day workshop this entire week. So when she gets back and she has she can provide her certificate of competence, then she can upload it and she can claim 5 points for this 5-day workshop. So that's not to be sneezed at. So workshops, any workshops that you have found value in, you can claim points for that. Then, of course, there are Lyasah activities. It is like attending AGMs, Lyasah AGMs, or if there are specific branch activities that you want to attend, then, of course, you can also claim points for that. So before we move on to the individual activities, if it is a Lyasah event and there was Lyasah registration, so Jesus sent the email to you, you all received it, you registered online with that little form that you have to fill in. Then we have your details. And then Lyasah will automatically allocate the points to you. As Marupeni also said, every now and again you will get your email saying your points have been allocated. If it is something that was done through another organization, say, for instance, you went to the SAIOM conference, or you, I don't know, a Sabinet hasn't had a conference recently, but Sabinet conference, or there was a Sandley conference lately. I know no, I think it's UWC is planning to have a conference. There was the Stellenbosch conference. All those activities do count for points. So you don't have to only do Lyasah activities. CPD is not confined to just your professional body. It is your entire environment. Let's move on. So now the other option, so the first one, go back a slide. So these are group activities. So typically things that happens in a group. Activities that you need to do as an individual would be, you will earn points if you are a member of a formally constituted Lyasah committee, or actually any other committee. It doesn't need to be a Lyasah committee. It needs to be related to the sector we work in. So if you're a committee of your church, a member of a committee in your church, unfortunately, you can't claim points for that. But if you are on the OZL committee, for instance, or you serve on the Sandley board, or you are an elected member of the CHELSA board, then you can claim points for that, provided that you serve your full term. So after the term has been served, your points will be allocated to you. Of course, when you do formal studies, again, you can get quite a number of points. I think for a master's degree, you can get 5 points, and for a doctoral degree, you can get 10 points. I'm speaking under correction, but it was hard work, and definitely you learned a lot. That was good CPD you did there. Then, of course, there are short courses that you can do that is very similar to the workshops, but any short courses. If you facilitated a LIS-related workshop, then, of course, you can claim a point for that. So you just need to make sure that there is necessary proof that it was done. So maybe a letter of invitation, a program, you can attach all that when you upload your points, or if you send it to Kagiso to upload for you, and you will earn your points. So you can see it is really very easy to earn points. I think this is my last slide. So just more activities. So it's attendance of the conference will earn you points. You will also earn points if you are presenting either a poster or a lightning session, or oral session or oral presentation, if you're chairing a session, or if you're part of a panel. And with all this say, remember the closing date for abstracts is Monday midnight. So make sure that you get your poster or your lightning presentation in, oral presentation, your abstract. If you want to, you can earn CPD points for that. Then, of course, there's also publishing. If you publish in the Sage list, again, it's a Lyasah publication. Talking too much, it's a Lyasah publication. So you will automatically be awarded a point if you have your designation. And then if you published in a different publication, then you need to either upload it yourself and maybe just attach the article, or you need to send it to Kagiso to upload it for you. So again, it's not limited to Lyasah publications. Similarly, article in the Lyasah in Touch, if your article gets accepted for publication, you will get a point for that. Then I think the activity, and this is the last one I'm mentioning, that people are struggling the most, that should be the easiest, is reading of academic LIS related articles. So on the Lyasah website, there is a list of open access journals. And if you have read one of those articles, also on the Lyasah website, you will find a little survey where you can claim points, and you just need to fill in all the fields. And I think with this activity is where the most points was declined, because people think they can perhaps copy and paste just the abstract and paste that in But there is a panel that is looking after these things and see that, okay, this was the article, this is word for word. There was no, they have not applied what they have learned in the article, perhaps to their current situation. But all of us have to read academic articles for one reason or the other. So why not combine it and just go to that little form and actually fill it in, and you have earned yourself a point. We would not advise that you claim all your points only in one category, but if that is the way to go at this stage, if there is no funds in your institution and you can only attend the free webinars and read academic articles or do some scholarly publishing, why not? As long as you continuously develop yourself professionally. So that was a whole mouthful. And with that, I can't see the questions, Lynn. So over to you.
Thank you so much, Anna-Marie, for providing us with such important, valuable information. I think we've all learned so much now, so much more about CPD and how to actually obtain and acquire these points. There were, yes, a number of questions in the chat, and the first one was, I'm just trying to go back now. Yes, what if, is Teresa, what if I have a non-LIS BA degree and honors, but only doing the masters in LIS now and have over 1 year library experience? Am I eligible to apply?
Teresa, once you have earned your masters in LIS, yes, then you are. So once we have the other two designations that I spoke of in place, so that might take a few more months. So once that is in place, you probably will qualify for a lower designation. And then the moment you got your MA or your M in LIS, then you can be moved up to the other designation, the professional librarian. So one of your designations must be in library and or information science, and it must be on a level in NQF level 7 or higher. So NQF level 7 currently is your basic B degree. NQF level 8 usually is your honors degree. NQF level 9 usually is your master's, and NQF level 10 usually is your doctorate degrees. So anything from NQF level 7 up in LIS, that would qualify you. But as you explain it there, if you are still doing your master's in LIS, then unfortunately, you will have to wait until you have graduated or until the other two designations come into play, and then you can start building your points. And once you have graduated, you will move up to the next designation.
Thank you, Anna-Marie. And then a question by Hugo for institutional members. What if they got the designation as an individual member and then moved to an institution that has institutional membership? Will I retain the professional librarian designation, or it falls away?
Hugo, so if your membership is not current, then your designation falls away. So if you had individual membership, you got your designation, you earned some points, and you move to a different institution, the institution is paying for institutional membership, so the 3,425 one, not the 681. Then if your membership is not paid, then next time you join as an individual member, you will have to start from scratch. So basically, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You've done a lot of things and you just let it go. So if your institution paid for you as an individual member, so they paid for, say you were 10 people, and they paid all 10 people 680 rands. you are still an individual member, regardless who paid your membership fee. So while you're individual member, you will retain your designation. Does that answer your question?
So bottom line is maintaining one's individual membership within Lyasah.
Correct. And work
Yes.
on your points over your 3 years.
Yes. And then a comment by Ingrid, and this was in response to the activities and webinars, seminars that one can attend to obtain points. And Ingrid was just a marketing HELIG, hosting many activities, many events like today. So there are many opportunities to gain CPD points. And also very recently, the Wikipedia One Live One Ref was a campaign was quite a nice way of obtaining CPD points by participating in the campaign and adding citations to Wikipedia pages, and one could I unfortunately missed out there. I didn't do too many, so but it was a very good initiative to gain some points. So there's definitely various options for us to do all sorts of activities and also obtain points. Then there's another question. Can one, by Teresa, can one get points for LIS related training such as Subinet, ILL training, EBSCO training, where one even gets awarded a certificate?
Teresa, absolutely, yes. I think many moons ago, Subinet contacted us, and I think we still need to finalize those conversations with them as well. But yes, you've learned something. You have done CPD. So in such a case, you can, again, just either send it to Kagiso or upload it yourself, and you will earn CPD points for that. So definitely, yes. So just to go to the previous comment, so what Ingrid did, she made all the arrangements that they will keep track for the Wikipedia, the One Lip, One Rep. They keep track of who did what, and at the end of the campaign, they sent us the details. So not everybody had to upload their own points. They sent us the details, and Kagiso went through the motions of uploading the points on behalf of everybody. So nobody had to go to any extra trouble in getting those points uploaded.
Thanks. And then on that note, a question by Rosalette. Where do one upload evidence and claim points on the Lyasah website? And then Neuro asking, where do I see how many points I have?
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Okay, so I need to share it differently. Share that, right. So once you are on the Lyasah website, you need to make sure, out of the way, that you are signed in. So if you are not signed in, you will not be able to see your points or upload. So you need to be signed in. If you don't know what your sign-in details are, just contact the office and we can assist. So once you have done that, go to My Profile and Manage Profile. And you scroll all the way down until you get to Content and Features. And if you were awarded the designation, you will have the professional development option here. If you know that you got the designation and the option is not there, you need to contact the office, because it might mean that there is a box that was not ticked that it actually can get back. Otherwise, we might not allocate your points while you are accumulating points, and we don't allocate because it doesn't show that you have been awarded the designation. So you click on professional development. And there we have it. So at the top, this is our training profile. So that's why it says Lyasah there at the top. So at the top here, you have certifications and programs, and you have your journal entries. So your journal entries would be the individual activities that you've done. So if we go to the certifications and programs, so that's just the system's titles for a designation. It is an American system, so they don't know what we want to call it. So here on certifications and programs, you have a nice little summary of exactly what it is. So it says there that the designation is professional librarian. It will tell you that it is incomplete. It will give you that you need to accumulate 20 CPD points. And so far, you have earned 6 points. So then you know you need to work on it. You need to work harder. Make sure that if there are other activities that you have not uploaded, that you upload it. And you will also be able to see your expiry date over there. So by 30 September 2014, you actually have to have earned 20 points. If we go back to journal entries, so that's where you can see a nice summary of your points. And here on journal entries, you can also see your points. So I'm not going to go through everything over here that we do in different types of training, but to upload your own CPD or your own evidence, you go to add entry, this big green plus sign. Okay, Kagiso, you guys can see the little pop-up. You should
Can see it.
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. Right. So all you need to do is you just need to complete these fields, upload the proof, any evidence that it was done, and you click submit. It's as easy as that. So
this sorry,
yeah.
Anna-Marie, so this applies to other conferences, LIS conferences like IFLA that just took place this week. Your participation there, one could then upload the evidence if one presented at a satellite conference or the main conference. It's not just Lyasah conference.
That is 100% correct.
Okay.
So
Okay.
any CPD, so if we cancel that.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. There's quite a number of questions. I'm going to try and get through them quickly. We are conscious of time. There's a comment by Marupeni about the points for masters and PhD studies. Wow, yes, I also didn't know that. I could have earned quite a few.
Chunk.
But just on that note, then, how can I say, how far back could one go then in terms of uploading or adding an entry, especially where formal studies is concerned, and I mean, not knowing that one could have earned that, how far back could one go?
So you can upload retrospectively up to the date that it was either awarded or renewed. So if it's the first time that you have applied and say it was, I don't know, last year, December, you can upload from December onwards. If you earned your qualification, your master's or your doctorate in 2018, then unfortunately it is too late. So just check what is your awarding date. If you're not 100% sure, then just contact the office, Kagiso or Lebo or myself. We all can check for you and we give you that date, and you can then retrospectively upload as from that date forward.
Thank you, Anna-Marie. Ingrid said join the journal reading club and then do the form after attending the discussion. Sitembile, if one has more questions later, can one send them to the presenter? I'm sure, Anna-Marie, that is fine. Thank you. And then Uyanda, how does one join the journal reading club? Maybe I can answer that. Uyanda, HELIG hosts a regular journal club sessions. We've revived it last year. So it's just a matter of looking at the events calendar, signing up and participating that way. And as Anna-Marie explained, completing the survey on the Lyasah website as well would also be another option. So Magome, if one do masters outside LIS, is one eligible to earn points?
I think we probably will need to know a bit more exactly in what you're doing your masters. But typically, no, it needs to be library and or information science related. So there are a few areas like archival studies or museum studies that we might be able to justify, but if it's totally outside, then unfortunately not, except if you can motivate that qualification is crucial for the job you are currently doing. So for instance, if we take an example, if you're a director of a library service and you're doing an MBA, you can motivate that MBA would be beneficial to what you are currently doing, and that might then be considered. But unfortunately, it's not a given. You will have to motivate why you need to earn points for something that is outside LIS.
Thank you. And I see Ingrid has also responded to Uyanda about the journal reading club and also marketing our next journal reading club, which is taking place on the 18th of August, hosted by HELIG. So please, you're more than welcome to join our session. Marupene also complimenting the Lyasah website, and it being very rich and also very interactive. Moving on, there seems there seems to be a discrepancy with my points. Who can I speak to about this? I think Anna-Marie's mentioned that the office can be contacted to inquire about the CPD points.
Absolutely. Maybe just drop either myself or Kagiso an email, and I'm sure Kagiso will also make a note of the name. And in the meantime, we can just check what is going on. So, but okay. Yes, please contact the office that we can sort it out for you.
And then a last question by Rosalette, asking if designation has expired, must you reapply for the designation or just start claiming points again?
So Rosalette, what happened was that, it's awarded for 3 years. So therefore the points has to be earned over 3 years. So the first designations were awarded on 11th of October, 2018. And most of those have now expired. So there are a few after that. Well, not most of them, all of them has expired. So for this round, we have automatically renewed the designations for those people that are members. And again, it's not necessary that that is going to happen every time. I think in my presentation, I also mentioned that at some point we might institute a test or exam or something. And who knows, maybe by 2024, when we actually, when the bulk of the designations has expired, we might have that in place, and then for reapplying, you might have to pass that test. We're not 100% sure, but currently it is automatically renewed for you. If you see that yours has not been renewed, again, contact the office and we will just see why it has not been renewed.
Thank you so much. On that note, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you, Anna-Marie, for a really an informative session this afternoon. We have certainly learned a lot this afternoon about continuing professional development and the importance of maintaining our professional librarian status, how to go about earning CPD points, and I'm sure that we will receive more and more colleagues participating in the upcoming activities. So we welcome your participation, and please also let us know if there's any topic of interest that you would like us to discuss and to host. As I mentioned at the beginning of the session, this is the platform for us to engage informally through the online coffee talks. And if the topic becomes heated, it develops into a workshop or a webinar of sorts. So thank you very much, Anne-Marie. Thank you, Marupene, also for your arrangements this afternoon, and also not to forget the colleagues in the back end, Kagiso, for your technical support. And then last but not least, to all the participants this afternoon for your active engagement and all the questions. It's really appreciated. Thank you. Have a lovely afternoon. I'm sure we will continue this conversation, but I also need to go now as I have another meeting. So thank you, everybody. Keep well, and please, we'll see you during our next HELIG activity. Take care and goodbye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.